Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are here outside of the Pennsylvania Data Center Energy and Innovation Summit. My name's Phoebe Reese. I'm Program Director at the Breathe Project, and we've got partners and community members here from all around southwestern Pennsylvania because the stakes are very high in the decisions that are being made for our energy future. And Pittsburgh was where AI was invented. It's the birthplace, and true innovation means that we can have a clean, renewable energy transition that science and health require, and we can do it right here in Pittsburgh as well. That is true energy innovation. And we believe that these voices and concerns should be part of the conversation. They should be centered in the conversation. So we're calling attention to these issues, and we've got some special guests here today. The first person I would like to introduce is Allison Steele, who's Executive Director of Environmental Health Project.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Allison Steele, and I'm the Executive Director of the Environmental Health Project, a nonpartisan, nonprofit public health organization headquartered in Pittsburgh. At EHP, we believe that people should have the opportunity to be healthy wherever they live and should have a say in the types of industrial development that take place in their communities. With the rapid rise of proposed data centers in our region, we are here today to share legitimate concerns about negative health and environmental impacts posed by these facilities, as well as the lack of meaningful involvement of the communities that are slated to host them. For more than a decade, EHP has worked with frontline families facing health risks from shale gas development. Anywhere companies drill and frack for gas, transport it through pipelines and compressor stations, burn it to generate electricity, and dispose of related waste products. Residents willing to speak out have described a range of adverse health outcomes, and there are dozens of epidemiologic studies and hundreds more investigations to back up what they are saying. The scientific community recognizes increased incidence of respiratory, cardiovascular, neurological, and reproductive problems and cancers near shale gas development, and gas-fired data centers represent shale gas development. Many of these hyperscale data centers are boasting about bringing their own energy. They will be bringing gas. That means more fracking, more pipelines, and a gas-fired power plant on site representing the health risks I just listed, plus more from noise and light pollution, as well as impacts on local water resources and more volatile weather in a changing climate. We have yet to see meaningful inclusion of these risks in any major discussions about the data center build-out in our region. Gas-fired hyperscale data centers pose a very real threat to public health. Public health risks represent negative economic impacts in the form of days of missed work, ER visits, medical costs, and moving out of the region to escape pollution. Those factors should all be considered in any conversation about data centers and their impacts on the economy, as should the perspective of residents near a proposed facility before it is approved. 15 years ago and more, we saw assurances of economic benefits and safety for communities hosting a new booming technology, fracking, with little opportunity to provide input or pushback against unwanted development. Of course, hindsight is 2020, and we can now see the results of that approach: adverse health outcomes and worse economic outcomes in many of those counties. We cannot follow the same pattern of behavior now while also claiming to prioritize the health and economic well-being of communities that frequently don't have the ability to get information about a proposed site or have their concerns addressed in the planning process. To the extent that data center development moves forward in our region, there must be meaningful engagement of potential host communities, and they must be allowed meaningful input as to whether a data center is built within their borders, how it is powered, and how their natural resources and residents will be protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison Steele. And next we have Jason, who's traveled a long distance to be here today with the Center for Coalfield Justice.
Thank you. We're here today because we have power and we have a choice. Big tech and fossil fuel companies want us to believe that data centers are inevitable, that they are our future. They are not. They are making decisions behind closed doors without us and at our expense. They say this is progress, but let's be clear. This is about profit. This is about a handful of billionaires and executives standing to get richer while our communities are left with higher energy costs, polluted air, and strained water resources. And they don't even have the courage to be honest about it. Developers, tech companies, and fossil fuel interests are hiding behind shell companies, trying to keep us in the dark about who really benefits from data centers. We see through it. We will not allow our communities to become sacrifice zones for corporate greed. We will not go back to more fossil fuels when we know we deserve a clean energy future. We deserve transparency. We deserve accountability. And we deserve development that actually benefits our communities, not just corporate bottom lines. So let's make sure they hear us when we say we have the power to say no. No to data centers. No to harm. No to exploitation. And yes to a future that puts people over profit. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Katie Jones.
Which language, everyone? Very nice.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Jones, and I am the Ohio River Valley Coordinator for Frac Tracker Alliance. Pennsylvania has become a hotspot for data center proposals due to its abundant fracked gas supply. This is in part why this conference is being held here today. Fossil fuel companies have eagerly latched on to the data center boom as their next lifeline. While these companies profit, the public faces significant health, climate, and environmental and financial consequences. At Frac Tracker, we built the first open access national data center tracker, providing details and advocacy information for communities. Through our research, we've identified 10 data center proposals just in Southwest PA, 8 of which are hyperscale in size. If all of them came online, they would require an estimated 10 to 13 gigawatts of power. That's 5 to 6 times the generation of the Hoover Dam. This represents a staggering demand for energy, much of which will come from fracked gas. Powering data centers with fracked gas incurs high costs, including air pollution, heightened health risks like cancer and asthma, depletion of drinking water sources, and noise pollution. Each new fracked well that's drilled to power data centers adds to the more than 15,000 unconventional wells already drilled in Pennsylvania. Every one of those wells will impact public health, the environment, and our climate. Economically, everyday Pennsylvanians will be left to foot the bill through rising utility costs as data centers strain the grid. Despite public opposition in areas like Homer City, Springdale, and Upper Borough, data center projects are being fast-tracked without community input. This raises serious concerns about environmental justice, land use, and the democratic process. Many communities in Southwest PA are already overburdened by pollution, aging infrastructure, and economic transition. Residents do not want to share their neighborhoods with these new polluting giants. If AI and data centers are truly the technology of the future, they should be powered by clean, renewable energy instead of dirty, outdated fossil fuel infrastructure. Decisions affecting our communities should prioritize public interest. Communities deserve a voice, and future generations deserve clean energy. So join us in saying no to fracked gas-fueled data centers. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie Jones. Next, we have Larissa Mednes from Clean Air Council. There's a logo in that box. And
sorry, this is like a thick fleece, so I don't know if it'll clip on, but
Yeah, maybe not.
She's going to read a statement from West
Kind
Pier.
of. All right.
No, excuse me.
Where do we go? Sorry, I don't want this little microphone to fall. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Larissa Mednes, and I'm an advocacy coordinator with Clean Air Council. Hold on just a sec. I got two speeches here. All right. And it is windy, so I'm out here this morning with fellow members of our community because I am deeply concerned about the proposed build-out of hyperscale AI data centers in Pennsylvania and the threat they pose to our health and well-being. I live here in Pittsburgh, which is where we experience some of the worst air quality in the United States, and this is a direct result of continued fossil fuel extraction in our region, which would only increase with the development of natural gas-powered data centers. For example, developers of the Homer City AI campus in Indiana County, which a couple folks have mentioned, they boast that a shuttered coal plant would be revitalized as a natural gas power plant. It would be the largest natural gas facility in the country, all brought online to power AI. But how would our air, our water, and our health be impacted by this? Pennsylvania has been an energy-producing state for centuries. Residents of our state and beyond rely on power generated here to keep the lights on. However, continuing to frack and drill for fossil fuels in order to generate this energy is no longer necessary or even affordable. We have the tools and the technology to transition to renewable energy. What we lack is the political will to do so. My questions for Governor Shapiro and Senator McCormick, who champion AI data centers, are simple. Who will benefit from this development? How will communities located near data centers be protected? And will you put pressure on developers to use renewable energy? Residents living near proposed data center sites are concerned, and rightfully so. Local groups in Springdale, Homer City, Beaver County, and Greene County, just to name a few, there are more data centers proposed and more communities organizing across the state and the country. They are organizing, they're demanding transparency and community input. They're speaking up and they're standing up for themselves and making their voices heard on a local and a state level. So, all right, we're live. Who have today's conference planners invited to host a panel on community relations? Surely this would be a fantastic opportunity to highlight the stories of impacted local residents. Instead, today's panelists include executives from Google, Amazon, and Meta, who will share proven strategies for building community trust and accelerating project approvals. As a community organizer myself, I've always understood community relations as a task of platforming community voices, not using big tech money to buy a seat at the table and drown them out. The good news is that public pressure is mounting, and it's working. Americans are voicing their opposition to data centers across political lines. As the affordability crisis deepens, we all face price hikes on essentials, including groceries, utility bills, healthcare, and transportation. State and federal legislators have responded by proposing that data center developers bring their own energy to reduce the cost burden for consumers. This is a step towards smarter development, but it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't address the underlying issue that data centers would astronomically increase energy demand in our state. If all the currently proposed centers are built, they will utilize about 21 gigawatts of power. I think Allison or Katie mentioned it's 10 locally, right? Like it's a significant amount of energy. To translate, about 1 gigawatt of power can power 870,000 homes. This means that the currently proposed energy demand for data centers is enough to power 18 million homes, or 3 times the number of homes in Pennsylvania. Lastly, I just want to address the fact that we need better policy that creates strong protective guardrails against data center development. State Senator Katie Muth has proposed a bill to set a 3-year moratorium on new data center development, and you can do your part by contacting your representatives and asking them to vote yes on the bill. And you can get prepared in the event a data center is proposed in your community. Get in touch with organizations working against data centers, including those of us who are here today. Learn from communities that have been organizing and fighting. There's also a data center organizing summit coming up on Saturday, April 18th in Pittsburgh, so there are many ways to get involved. Thank you. I will stay up here because we have a statement from our Indiana County organizing group, so you get to hear me talk for a couple minutes longer. It is somewhere in here. Can you just grab these? Yep. Thank you. All right. So I'll be reading a statement from the Concerned Residents of Western Pennsylvania. This is an organization of local residents that are residing near the proposed Homer City redevelopment project in Indiana County. Corey Hessen, the CEO of Homer City Redevelopment, will be speaking today on how a legacy power site in Indiana County is becoming the foundation for a $10+ billion investment in AI-ready energy infrastructure. They claim their vision is built on bedrock, but whose bedrock? Whose interests are truly being served? What will a true cost be? This is our home. This is our bedrock. As residents, our questions and concerns have been ignored, despite our repeated attempts to reach out. There has also been a lack of transparency with our public officials. It has been a year since they demolished the smokestacks at the Homer City generating station and announced the construction of one of the largest fracked gas power plants and proposed AI data center projects in the country. And we've spent countless hours since trying to understand what's happening in our own community. A solid foundation should support everyone, not just a few. We deserve to be included and respected in decisions that shape our future. Homer City has borne the burdens of pollution and its health impacts for generations. People should be talking about legacy pollution rather than legacy power, and you can read that however you wish. We are calling for transparency, respect, and meaningful participation as decisions are made that will affect our children, our environment, and the future of Homer City and Indiana County. Concerned Residents of Western Pennsylvania, CROW, is a community movement opposed to the AI data center and fracked gas power plant proposed for Homer City, Indiana County, Pennsylvania. CROW is united out of care and concern for humanity, health, safety, and a sustainable future. All of the heart of our mission is a commitment to a just transition towards renewable energy, a thriving economy, social justice, and clean air, water, and land for all. Through learning, sharing, and growing together as an inclusive and open community, we believe a better world is possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larissa from Clean Air Council. And that was a statement from Concerned Residents of Western Pennsylvania. It's a community grassroots group in Indiana County fighting the Homer City power plants. They couldn't come all the way here so early this morning, but we're glad to have their voices represented and for the great work they're doing. So the conference is about to start. It's getting underway. These are some of the brightest minds in the region, a region known for innovation, and we know they believe in science, so they must know that the climate crisis is globally established science. We hope that they will be more aware of the public health data and all the things. We've got investment now in new energy infrastructure. It's time to build that clean, renewable energy transition that will benefit our health, that will benefit communities, that will give us good jobs, and we don't have to choose. That's what true energy innovation. We can have jobs and our health. We can solve the climate crisis and lower our electricity bills and reduce spending on natural disasters and national security. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you to everyone here for coming so early in the morning and for all the hard work you do every day and all the communities that you represent. And let's make some good decisions because we have a choice right now. As we said, the stakes are really high, This is not a game. You know, we're having fun with the gambling theme, but we have a choice now to make it right. We don't want to leave future generations with a really expensive mess when we have options and this ability to do it right. So thank you. We're grown-ups. Let's not leave it to the children of the future to clean up our mess. Thank you.